that.
They never put it on there. It drives me crazy.
So the first person to testify will be Alex Bergstrom, followed by Laurie Watkins.
Good morning,
Welcome,
Council.
Alex.
My name is Alex Bergstrom. I work in the Institutions Project at Columbia Legal Services. I'm an organizer for the FAIR Coalition, and I'm here today on behalf of the city's Reentry Work Group, which is convened by the Office of Civil Rights. The Reentry Work Group includes community members and advocacy groups with experience and expertise in reentry and reentry policy. We support the use of safe consumption spaces as an intervention for the many people in reentry who are cycled through the justice system as a result of unmonitored, untreated substance use disorders, and as a preventative measure for those who are not yet permanently marked by the courts for their illnesses. We are grateful for your commitment to creating these spaces. We are also responsible for pointing out that every day of commitment without action brings the condemnation of people who need help, as you know. And so today we are simply here asking for your urgency. Thank you for your time and for your work on this issue.
Thank you very much. Laurie Watkins, followed by Julia Jacobs.
My name is Laurie Watkins. I live in the heart of Capitol Hill. I live right near Seattle Central College, Cal Anderson Park, and the Pike Pine Corridor. I'm raising a son on Capitol Hill. My son Oscar is now 9 and has lived his whole life on the same block of Capitol Hill. We love our bustling, urban, diverse neighborhood. Thank you. I support safe consumption spaces because right now, our whole neighborhood is a consumption space, but not a safe one. Our neighbors are at risk of overdose deaths. We find discarded needles steps from our door. We want a safe consumption space as soon as possible, and we want it in our neighborhood. Thank you so much for all you have done and are doing to bring this life-saving intervention to Seattle. And please continue to move this project forward with all the urgency that this public health emergency requires. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laurie. Julia Jacobs, followed by Penny Legate.
Hi, I'm Julia Jacobs. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to allow us to speak on the issue of making safe consumption spaces a reality. We've made so much progress in making this happen, and yet there's still so much to do. Every day, people are still dying, and talk is good. I'm glad that we're talking. These are the right conversations, but what we need right now is action, and that's what I'm here to talk about, is pushing this forward and making this the action in response to the urgency of the need. I just want to leave you by saying, delays mean death. Thank you.
Thank you. Penny Legate, followed by Tony Raducci.
Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity. My name is Penny Legate. I'm a longtime member of the broadcast news media in Seattle. I currently reside on Mercer Island, and I want you to look at me not as a member of the media today, but as a mother who lost her child to an accidental heroin overdose. On June 12th, 2012, my beloved daughter, Mara, age 19, died in my home of a heroin overdose. Mara had been in recovery for nearly a year. She had fought hard to stay well, and she relapsed, which is a common occurrence in this chronic medical condition. And as we know, people who relapse aren't used to having the drug in their body, and it's very common for them to die of overdoses, and that is what happened to my daughter. I agonized so many times about the what-ifs, as a mother, of course, and they will haunt me to my grave. What if I'd gone down to check on her when she came home that night? What if, what if? What if there'd been a safe consumption site? What if she had had a place to go to? If she knew she was going to relapse and that drug beckoned her back for whatever reason? What if she'd had a place to go? She recognized her substance use disorder. We talked about it many times. We talked about the fact that if she did use again, it would be like Russian roulette. The needle is like a gun to your head. She knew that. At this point in her life, Mara wanted to stay sober. She wanted to stay well. She was struggling very hard to stay in recovery. We talked about the fact that rat poison and shoe polish and these kinds of things are found in heroin packets. You never know what you're going to get. It's always a risk. That's why if safe consumption sites exist, if somebody does get uncut heroin or something with contaminants in it, fentanyl, et cetera, they will survive. There are some 100 sites all around the world. We're far behind when it comes to the rest of the world in terms of dealing with safe consumption sites. These 100 sites in 66 different countries have never had anyone die of a drug overdose. We know this is not a complete solution. We know, all of us, that this is a very complex problem that's going to require lots of pieces of the puzzle to solve this epidemic. Every day, 174 Americans die of drug overdoses. So where is the urgency? I'm urging you today to take action. Seattle has struck out as a leader. We are a bold and innovative city. Let's break through all this ignorance and fear and loathing and take our compassion and the science and the knowledge and the results of what we know about safe consumption sites and do something. In memory of Mara and the thousands of others who have died and those of us who are left to live without them here on this planet, please take action, and thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. Tony Radush and Karen Goldberg.
Good morning, council members. I was walking in today and I just want to mention that it was ironic that downstairs at the art installation it said that someday we'll all be free. I want to say is that addiction flourishes in isolation, and Seattle is ready for a fixed safe consumption site. At these sites, community engagement, healthcare workers, peer coaches and caseworkers will be there to establish connection to some of our city's most vulnerable people. Seattle's ready for a safe consumption site, and we're ready to engage people living in substance use disorder. Our society is ready to engage some of our city's most vulnerable citizens who will no longer be made to feel ashamed, judged, ridiculed, or stigmatized for the places and spaces they find themselves, but are met where they are at with compassion and empathy. And a safe consumption site will do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Karen Goldberg, followed by Tarina James.
Hey, Council. I'm Karen Goldenberg. I live on Capitol Hill, too, like a previous speaker, very close to Cal Anderson Park. I have 2 little dogs. I walk them every day there. I have twice had to call the paramedics to revive people that I just came across in the park. I've talked to my own doctor about carrying naloxone because I don't want to stand by and watch a neighbor die. I also believe really strongly in evidence-based practice. I have a background in public health, and there is very clear evidence that a safe consumption site would be a safe and effective way to bring help to our neighbors in need. I would really, really like to see my city invest in a program that we know will work and fight the stigma that is keeping it from coming into fruition. Please take action.
Thank you very much. Tarina? Followed by Jason Arlington.
Not here.
Okay. And after that, Mandy Slidekey. Hi.
Hi, my name is Jason, and I'm an IV drug user. And I stood here about 1.5 years ago, and I showed you my track mark scars, and I talked about fear. And a lot has happened since then in Seattle, rallying around the different sectors of society, rallying around safe consumption spaces. And that's been really encouraging. But now we seem to have hit a snag, and I'm here again to ask you to move quicker. You really aren't being asked to take this huge overturn of failed drug policy. You're actually being asked to take one small step on a much longer journey as we rethink substance use completely throughout the country. Shooting black market dope with your hand shaking because you need the fix and you're afraid of getting caught and going to jail, which you really don't need right now, is about as far out in the outer rim as you can get. It's a lonely place. It's a desperate place. It's a fatal place. IV drug users are the most stigmatized, spit upon people in all of our society. We see the disgust in people's face every single day. We are often left out, homeless, friendless, jobless, left to die. Really, left to die. And we don't have time to wait anymore. Your move for safe consumption spaces says that you see us and you don't think that we deserve to die. So please, help us now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mandy Slidekey, followed by Darcy.
Hi, my name is Mandy Slidekey and I'm a registered nurse. I first want to thank you for completing the Safe Consumption Site feasibility study and putting out this report. As a public health nurse, I know that the longer we wait to open a safe consumption space, the more people die, and I know that you all know that. While this report is a step in the right direction, the city must declare their next steps in the process, or it will stall in government bureaucracy, allowing more people to die preventable deaths. You have the power to open these spaces now, and you have the power to start saving lives. I implore you to use that power and to act swiftly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Darcy. Hi, Jean.
I've been a member of the Ballard Community Task Force on Homelessness and Hunger for about 10 years. Thank you, State Representative Mary Lou Dickerson, for bringing us together. I just want to speak today about two women that I know personally who have died of overdose, Cassie and Annie. Cassie died in the U District. She was a bright and shining light. We could still have her with us if she had been able to take drugs through this site and had gotten the help that she needed. Annie had just gotten into housing, finally getting her addiction under control and reuniting with her family and with her grandchildren. If she'd had a safe consumption site, she wouldn't have relapsed and died. We would have her with us today, and her family would have her with them. So please move forward quickly with this. Don't wait.
Thank you so much. Yvonne Nelson, followed by Mary Goldberg. Welcome, Yvonne.
Hi, my name is Yvonne, and I work with Reach Outreach, and I'm out in communities where people live in tents, and what happens is that we know that life is about building relationships, and I think that the safe consumption sites will help people build relationships, which will save the city money with emergency room visits. And when people are ready to do something besides use, because we know everybody is not ready to stop using. And I think that it is important for people to have somewhere safe to build relationships, because it is a lonely disease. I think we should move forward with safe consumption sites.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. Mary? Welcome, Mary.
Hello, my name is Mary Garson. I also work with Yvonne. We work with Reach, and we're out in the field. I would just like to say, I think about this in terms of when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, but there has to be a community for them to come together. And I, myself, am a survivor of domestic violence and of addiction. And had I had a place to go, I could have left the domestic violence a lot sooner. I was not ready to quit using, and I would end up in treatments and then back with my abuser because I would go back to using. So I would also like to speak on just behalf of all the women out there and men who are being abused and have nowhere else to go because they can't stop using. They don't have a community. So I would also like you to think about that when you're thinking about safe consumption sites. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is everyone I had signed up for testimony. Is there anybody else that wanted to testify today? I just want to take a quick minute to thank everybody for your stories, your personal stories, the work that you do in the community, and for sharing your own examples of why this is a public health issue. And I think we have heard the call for action and the urgency around this. Really appreciate all of your words. Also, I just want to note Chris Daniels with King 5 has done an incredible story about a safe consumption site in Vancouver, and I don't know if we will have time to show it today, but we will try to show it again at our April 19th meeting, where we will go into a little bit more depth on the task force. Today we will talk about the Statement of Legislative Intent report back, which is one component of a broader discussion around this topic, but just know that this will also come back again on our agenda on April 19th. Councilmember